What's going on, YouTube? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been on my mind these past couple of days with everything that's going on in the Los Angeles area in regards to the fires. So some of the things that I've been thinking about is the real estate market in Los Angeles County. What's going to happen to the real estate market post-fire? So obviously I think that this is probably going to create a significant amount of foreclosures. Why would people continue, especially the people who don't have or who thought that they were fully insured and they're not going to be covered by their insurance companies? These people aren't going to continue making payments on their mortgage, on their house that's no longer there. So obviously the foreclosure rate is more than likely going to continue to go up. And that's not good for real estate. No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When real estate is priced on the margin, and when one house in the neighborhood goes into foreclosure and the value of that home goes down, whether it be a short sale, whatever, when one house in the neighborhood goes down, it brings down the value of the whole neighborhood. So I thought about it and I was wondering, I did some research and I was trying to figure out what is the foreclosure rate in Los Angeles County in particular. And that turned out to be very hard information to find. And I was actually it was very challenging. I couldn't get it. The only information that I could get was the foreclosure rate for the state as a whole. And apparently California has a very low foreclosure rate. It's about one house in every 3,600 that are in foreclosure. So that's pretty low. Now, this could be because of how, the politics are in California. They really do everything that they can to delay and, stop the eviction process and delay the foreclosure process and whatnot. That could be politics, or it could be because the, economy is doing well. I don't know. But I just wanted to think about the foreclosure rate and what's going to happen to it after these fires. I think it's going to go up. I don't see why it wouldn't go up. There's probably going to be a lot of people who are underinsured and they're not going to continue making a payment on a house that's no longer there. They're just going to walk away from it. And that's going to have an impact on the housing market, I believe, on housing prices in particular. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the bankruptcy rate, or excuse me, the unemployment rate. Many of these people are going to become unemployed because their businesses got burned down too. So when the business goes bankrupt, these people are really rich in Los Angeles. They've got businesses and they employ people and they're a net positive to the economy. So when their businesses go up in smoke, that's going to increase the bankruptcy rate. It's just the way it is, which in turn is going to increase the unemployment rate. So I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into what the bankruptcy rate was for Los Angeles County. And again, that was really hard to find as well. So I was able to find the bankruptcy rate for California as a whole. And apparently the bankruptcy rate is really high in comparison to the nation. It's about 38,000 cases were filed last year alone. 38,000. That's much higher than any other state in the country by a long shot. So a lot of people are filing bankruptcies in California. And I think this is going to attribute to that number by a lot, by thousands. So, and in turn, that's going to cause the unemployment rate to go up. When businesses fail because they get burned down, people, they go bankrupt and then they can no longer employ these people. So I did a little bit of a dive into what the unemployment rate was in Los Angeles County, and it's about 6%, which isn't exactly low. So the unemployment rate in Los Angeles County is about 6% right now. Well, that's November of 2024, and that was up from the prior month. So all of these recessionary indicators are starting to go in the wrong direction. Like this is things could really get bad here. Los Angeles County in particular could really get hit by an economic problem. And the next thing I wanted to think about was the insurance claim denial rate in California in regards to, you know, these natural disasters that happen, like tsunamis or earthquakes or fires. And I couldn't find any information. I scoured the internet. I went on ChatGPT. I went on Google AI. I did everything that I could, and I could not find what the insurance claim denial rate was for California. Like, out of 100 houses who are fully insured, how many of them get their claims denied? I couldn't find any information on that. And it begs the question, why? I personally find that to be a little bit suspicious, and I wonder if the reason why that number is so hard to find is probably because it's higher than what you might think. Out of 100 people, how many of them are going to get their claims denied in Los Angeles? It's probably going to be an eye-opening number. If that number ever comes out, I'm sure they do everything they can to conceal that number because it's probably pretty high. So, and that's not good. That's not good. That's not going to be good for the economy. That's not going to be good for jobs. That's not going to be good for these homeowners. That's not going to be good for anything. And some people could argue, they could say, well, now that all of these people, are displaced, the demand for housing in Los Angeles County is going to go up, which is probably true. It's probably true, yeah. There will be thousands of people that need to find a home. The question is whether or not they will have the liquidity, the capital, to be able to purchase their next home. Because more often than not, people have to sell the home that they're in now, collect the proceeds, and utilize it into purchasing their next home. What's going to happen to these people who don't have insurance? They're not going to be able to get their money. What money? They still owe a mortgage payment on a house that's no longer there. They can't sell a house that's no longer there and take that money and use it to purchase another house. That's not going to happen. There will be a demand for housing, but there will not be liquidity to purchase housing. That's what I believe. Obviously, some people probably have millions of dollars in their bank account, but most don't. Most don't. In these areas, there might be, but I don't think that they're going to want to utilize that money, So, and especially when you take into consideration the fact that the mortgage applications in Los Angeles County has been flatlined. Nobody's buying houses, nobody. For these past couple of, it's just interest rates are way too high. Everything that happened during, these last couple of years, prices went through the roof. And while interest rates were low and inflation got out of control, so the Federal Reserve raised interest rates, and that crushed demand. The mortgage application rate in Los Angeles is 0. Nobody's buying houses in Los Angeles, except for the ultra global elite who have just cash, and they don't even worry about what interest rates are because they pay cash. But that's 1% out of 100. It's probably less than 1%, to be honest with you. So, and mortgage rates are still 7%. People don't want to buy right now, especially as the unemployment rate's going up, especially as the bankruptcy rate is the highest it's been since 2009. Crazy. So anyways, I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on that and the real estate market. And what are your guys' thoughts on the real estate market in Los Angeles? Where do you think that this is going to go? Do you think that the foreclosure rate has a huge impact on housing prices? If, I believe it does. When one house in the neighborhood goes into foreclosure, that affects all the comps in the neighborhood. I wonder what is going to happen to the foreclosure rate in Los Angeles. So if you have any thoughts or comments, just leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think, about the real estate market in Los Angeles County. I find this stuff to be very interesting and very fascinating, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So those are some of mine. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a nice day.